Anyone? If it's not done by anyone, so I can move to the third question straight away. And people, today is going to be officially the last day, because next Sunday is the 27th, 28th, I think. So it is the day before your exam starts. So I'm ending the session and the classes by today, so we have to finish this off. Right. So okay, it seems no one has done the second question. No, hold on. All right, okay. Aman, okay. Let's go on. So the second one is asking some information technology related risks are given below. Losing your files and folders due to a hard disk failure. So they have given some reasons, and they are asking to identify the solutions to as per the problems that they given in the app. So we can say losing user files and folders due to hard disk failure. Yeah, now that can be avoided, or not avoided, if you take a suitable solution, getting regular backups will give you as a suitable solution. So A is gone with B. And computer behaving abnormally after the use of flash drive. So maybe it is because of a malware which is traveled from the flash drive to the computer. So it's better we use an antivirus software before it get used, so we can scan it and use it, right? So B can take U. And data in a computer connected to the internet accessed remotely without authorization. So here they are talking about accessing the computer remotely. That means like you are going to have the access the computer through the internet, or that kind of a way, or through a large network. So when it comes to a large network, something like internet, it's the firewall that is going to protect the unauthorized use access, or like unauthorized access, right? So the C part should goes with installing firewall. So this is going to be enough. And frequent power supply interruption to personal computers. So it's frequent power supply interruption can be avoided, or can be handled using the uninterrupted power supply, which provide us the power uh, for some time, like for 5 to 10 minutes, or maybe the 15 minutes, to save our work and make things okay when the power interruption happens. So it is use of UPS. So it's going to be T over here, right? So the answers are P for A, U for B, R for C, and T for D. So let's go by the marking scheme as well. Okay, so right, this is the answer. So you can have 1 mark if you got 3 to 4 answers correct, right? Okay, so moving forward, it is asking the 3R technique. will, except for waste reduction, explain this technique with the respect to reducing e-waste. Now, when it comes to the e-waste, reducing means like limiting the devices or like limiting the purchases of the electronic devices like unwantedly, right? So like if you got a phone, you are not going to buy another phone, even though you are seeing there are new models and all these things are there, right? And we purchase the electronic devices just for the needed things, right? Not because it is nice or it is new or it is used by everyone else, right? So that is on the reduce concept. The reuse concept is talking about like whatever that you are using, the electronic device, whatever that you are using, you are like uh, give away to someone else or like sell it to someone else. So that particular person will be reusing the device that you have used, right? And recycling means when the electronic device like cannot be used further, then it's going to be like when it cannot be repaired as well, it needs to be destroyed, like no use of it. So we can hand them over to a collecting center where the e-waste are being collected, and they will chop them and crush those things, and like sometimes they use different kind of techniques, and they will create them into a raw materials and provide it to the manufacturer uh, for their future manufacturing purposes, right? So likewise we can use the recycling. So in the marking scheme it says any two from the following with 1 mark for each. Explaining is important. No mark awarded for the just write in reduce, reuse, and recycle. Right? So reduce means reduce unnecessary purchases, use or accumulation of electronic devices. So that idea should be there, right? And reuse, sell, donate, repair all electronic devices without discarding. And recycle the components in irreparable electronic devices, right? So any two of these, right? You can go with the marks. So the third part, uh, I think they are asking, yeah, right answer for the following. Write one way in which person can protect spreadsheet on his computer from unauthorized access. So like from to unauthorized access, now they say assume that the computer is not connected to the internet. So if it is not connected to the internet, so no one can hack through the internet. So then to provide the unauthorized access is to like we can provide we can avoid unauthorized access by having a password, having usernames, and even you can have passwords to the spreadsheet, or you can have a password to the entire system, right? Or you can give access privileges where some users will be able to access it and some are not, right? So you can make the access privilege uh, to access by yourself only, not by anyone else, right? But much better answer will be a username and a password, because if he got the username and password to your account, so he will no, and again yeah, password access කරන්න පුළුවන්. Yeah, access privileges will do fine. So yeah, the answer that they are saying is using a password. So even using the access privileges, we can do the same, right? So when it comes to the B, a person cannot afford to buy a licensed spreadsheet software for his computer, right, one thing that he could do, yeah, so he can go for the open source softwares like OpenOffice Calc and all these things, or he can use a free cloud service uh, spreadsheet, so like Google Sheets, right? So those two facilities or ways are there. So any one of it can be an answer for your question. So it's going to give you a 1 mark regarding that particular answer, right? So only one you have to write. Yes, in C part, it is asking write down one benefit that the student can obtain through the LMS. Yeah, we can have many benefits through the LMS, like obtaining study notes, supplement, like those are same, right? Obtaining study notes and supplementary study material. ඒ දෙක එකක් විදිහට සලකන්නේ, right? You know, ඔයගලන්ට එක දෙකක් විදිහට ලියන්න බෑ. If you write it like this, so you will be given only 1 mark, right? Or එකක් විදිහට තමයි සලකන්නේ, right? 1 mark නෙමෙයි එතන ගොඩාක් දුරට, මොකද the question got 1 mark, so the 1 mark is given to 2 factors, so that particular one will be taken as only 1 factor, right? So likewise, getting feedback, online assignment, and participating in online quizzes, participating in discussions, getting notes. So all these things, there are many different things that you can say. If you get in any alternative answers, let me know. I'll tell you whether it is correct or not. So yeah, any two of these will give you 1 mark. No, any one of these. Yeah, it says any one of these. Sorry, my mistake. Any one of these will give you 1 mark. All right, and in the D part, it's saying a student wants to include in his essay a part of the content of a website without intellectual property violation. How can he do it? Yeah, so we can quote it, we can cite it, right? Or we can give the references that this particular part is taken from this particular place of this website, right? And you can obtain the permission from the author, right? So you can do those kind of work. So 1 mark is given for that. And in part E, it is saying a manager in a Colombo office want to have a video conference with managers in Jaffna and Mathur branches without everybody coming to a single location. Write down requirements. It is talking about in plural words needed in these locations. So the marking scheme says 2 marks for any one of the following. If incomplete, give 1 mark. Yeah. So to have the video conference, we need a multimedia computer, like with audios and video recording, like video receiving and recording facility, right? Or else you can just say we need a laptop, so it is inbuilt with audios and webcam and all these things, and communication software and the internet, right? So, or else you can say computer with audio hardware and webcam and communication software and internet. Or you can say video conferencing kit, right, and internet, right? So somehow the answer should be complete, like it is pointed out in a one particular point, right? So if it got totally, you are going to have 2 marks. If it is partially correct, you are going to have 1 mark. All right, so moving to the 4th part, it is just asking you to draw a little network diagram to show how a server, computer A and computer B, and a printer is connected using the star topology, right? So it's easy. And remember, you should always use a central device. So that can be a hub or a switch, right? So you only need to write one of these words. So, and they specifically ask you to use the squares. or like the boxes to indicate the devices. So you can say here you can say the server, and computer A is there, and computer B is there. And a printer, right? So this is going to be the diagram. So it is easy, like you only need to remember what are the topologies are. So what are the other topologies we have? We have bus topology, right? And mesh topology, right? Those kind of topologies are there. Like we talk about like tree topology is there, right? Ring topology is there, right? So if I remind you the things, so this is something we call bus topology, right? So this is something we call ring topology, right? And when it comes to the mesh topology, it's connected with each and every computer, so this can be taken as mesh. And when it comes to the tree topology, so it contains two types of topologies, like you have a bus, and inside a bus you can have a star. Likewise. Right, so that's the answer for the fourth part. So let's sum up the second question. Yeah, is it clear, people? Can I have the confirmation? Right, great. So moving to the third one. Okay. So yeah, following are the partly shown tables of the relational database of sports team management system in a school, right? And has anyone done the third question? Right, great. So here they are given you three tables, which is regarding the player details in player table, and team details in team table, and player team details in player team table, right? Now, what they are asking is write down the primary keys of team table, that's a part A, and write down the possible primary keys available in the player table. So, and as a note, it says captain ID is valid player ID, right? So that means captain ID, which is found here, is going to be a valid player ID. So what they are trying to say indirectly is like it's the same value that these two columns are contains, which is captain ID and the player ID, but only the names are different. So in other words, they create the relationship in between these two tables, right? So player ID is the one that we can consider as the primary key of the player, can be taken as a primary key of the player because it doesn't have any repeating values. And if you take the first name, you can see someone is repeating, and we are not generally taking first name as a primary key. And even though we cannot find any repetitions in the last name, we are not going to choose that because we are not choosing the names if it is not the last option for us, right? And student ID, if you go through, student ID does not have repetitions as well. So for possible primary keys for the player table, they were asking about two, so it is player ID and the student ID. And about the teams, cricket is repeating, volleyball is repeating, so name cannot be taken, and age group is repeating, so that can be taken. and captain ID. So this is working as a foreign key, and of course it cannot be taken into it is repeating. So the only option that we left with is the team ID. So team ID will be the primary key for the team table, right? So in the same way, we'll look into the what is the primary key for the player team, right? So you can't take it, you can't take team ID alone. It has repetitions. And you can't take play ID alone. Oh, hold on. Doesn't it have any repetitions? P10021043. Yeah, it does not have any repetitions, but I doubt whether we can take the things. Yeah. So when the question is done, you will see it's a little bit hard because for a one particular team there can be many players, and in a one particular player can be in only one particular team. Yeah, that will be a little bit doubtful. The method, since they haven't given any concrete clue, that is why they are not put inside the in the question as well. Uh, I think we won't be able to go through the things, since we don't know whether a player is going to join for the one team or many team. මෙතන පේන විදිහට නම් it is just the player, one player is participating at a one team only, right? So in that case, we can take the player ID as the primary key, but it's not sure, right? So year joined, yeah, it's definitely repeating, right? So in the question, they are just asking about two tables, which is team table and the player table. So as we talked, the marking scheme shows for team table, it's team ID, and remember people, exact spelling is considering, right? So it should have T capital, I capital, D capital in team ID word, right? And for the part B, it is player ID and student ID, right? So 1 mark for the part A, 1 mark for the part B. And in the second answer, in the second question, they are asking which table or tables needs to be updated to accommodate the following changes, right? And I am referring to the 3A part as well. 3A part එකේ 2A part එකේ කරලා තියෙන එකේ තියෙන වෙනස්කම ලියන්න කියනවා. So when I'm explaining, it is easy for me to use those things. So the 2A part says a new student, PL Alvis, student ID is S4205, is admitted to the school and joins under 17 cricket team in 2019, right? So in question 3 part A, it says by giving the question to write down the new record which is being added to the tables in 2A, and they said assume the P Alvis assigned player ID is P1120. So I'm going to use this P1120 when I'm explaining the 2A, right? So it is a new student, PL Alvis, admitted to the school and joined the under 17 cricket team. So that means a new player is there in the school, right? So player details should get updated because he is a new one. So that means we have to write it over here. So the player ID is P1120. So this will be P1120, and his name, what's his name? PL Alvis, yeah. So hold on a second. Sopial Alvis will be here, and his student ID, it is given in the question, it is S4205. So it will be S4205. So new player is there, and again he has connected or been part of the under 17 cricket team. So team table will not get changed neither, because under 17 cricket team is there, and they got a captain as well. But player to the under 17 cricket team will be added up. So player team table should get updated. So it should say T2 over here, and P1120 as the player ID, and the year they have joined, year he has joined is 2019. So 2019 should be there. So that's going to be the entries for the database. So when a new student is admitted, so in part 2 they are asking what are the tables that they need to update. So definitely it's the team player table and the player table, right? So yeah, player and player team, sorry, not the team player, it's a player team table. Those two should be there. And in the second one, it asks which table need to be updated to make Nimal Fernando to the captain of under 19 football team. So now Nimal Fernando, if you go through the database, the table, he is there already. This is Nimal Fernando. So we don't need to modify the player table because he is there. And player team, it is just indicating what are the players in a team. So P1006 is in the T3, that means the volleyball team, he is there, right? And oh, that takes something I didn't capture. Okay, we'll see. So like the Nimal Fernando P1006 has changed the captain as the how it says, as under 17, sorry, under 19 volleyball team. So yeah, no, it's not going to be changed. So under 19 volleyball team. So under 19 volleyball team means the T3, the same team that Nimal Fernando is in. එයා කොහොමත් ඒ team එකේ ඉන්නවා. ඒක තමයි අපිට මෙතනින් indicate වෙන්නේ. But he was not the captain. Captain was P1002. See? Right? And that gives, yes. Yeah. ඒක හරිනම් මේ table එකටත් එන්න ඕනේ P1002 in T3 කියලා, but they missed the that particular entry, right? So doesn't matter, right? So P1002 is the captain so far. So now P1006 is going to be the captain. So P1002 should taken out. Instead of that, you should have P1006 as the captain or the player captain ID. So this is the only table that needs to get updated. So it's table team that should get updated according to the requirement. So it says the team table that need to be updated. Okay, people, just confirm, did you got that point? All right, great. All right, in the part 3, they are asking the record entries. So we talk about the player and the player team entries when we are doing the 2A part. So as we wrote, like P1120, PL Alvis S4205 should be there. And player team T2 P1120 2019 should be there. And record entries needed for the creation of under 17 football team with Shane Almeida as the captain. So that's a new one. So like they are creating a new team. What is a new team? Under 17 football team. So team ID is T7, they said. And appoints Shane Almeida as the captain. Right? And they are asking you to write, and you should be very careful when you are writing things because they have given a structure even in here as well. So they are asking you to write table name, an arrow, and put brackets and list down the values of the fields, right? So and they says Shane Almeida is currently playing the under 17 cricket team. There is a note as well, right? So what they are doing is they make a new team, under 17 football team, and make the Shane Almeida as captain, right? So if they are creating a new team, definitely team table is going to have a new entry, U19, and Shane Almeida as the captain. Now Shane Almeida, it is this particular entry. So his player ID is S2905. It is, I'm sorry, his player ID is P1105. It is the one which should write over here, right? So he becomes the captain, and when this particular team has made, so that particular detail should go to the player team as well. So they should contain the details. So T7 should be here, and P1005 should be here, and they are doing this in 2019. So 2019 should be here, right? So two tables must get changed or like added with new records. So records are going to be like this. So if we refer the marking scheme, here the way they have illustrated that, so team, an arrow, so like within brackets T7 football under 17 P1005, player underscore team, an arrow T7 P1005 2019. So that is the way the records should get entered into these particular tables. So the fourth one, it is asking which table are to be joined to write a query to find the name of the under 19 cricket captain. Now in the database, we are talking about the queries. Now queries means the requests that we make from the tables to retrieve some data, right? So you can request a one particular table to show some data, right? Or you can request more than one table to filter some data and show it as an output, right? So that is what we call query. Queries are the way of talking with the database and having the results, right? So when you are using more than one table to filter the data or to choose the data, it creates joins, right? If you are using just one table, it won't create a join. But when you are using more than one table, it creates joins, right? And we did it on the database lesson, like like we doing it like uh, not a coding thing, or like not writing the SQL statement, but just by choosing the tables and choosing what are the fields that we need to be chosen, right? Or like need to be in the output. And the tables වලින් කැමති fields ටික තෝරලා අපි query එක හැදුවා, query wizard එක පාවිච්චි කරලා, right? So in the question they are asking, they need to find the name of the under 19 cricket captain. So they asking what are the tables that need to be joined. So when this kind of a question is there regarding a query, if they are asking what are the tables or what are the fields that you are need to refer with, so the only thing that you need to do is think that you are given these tables manually and asks you to find the answer to the query. නේද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ tables ටික දීලා කියනවා under 19 cricket captain ගේ නම හොයලා දෙන්න කියලා. Don't think about the queries, right? Because you are not given to write the queries. SQL කියලා language එකක් තියෙනවා, ඒකෙන් queries ලියන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. So again අහන්නේ මොන table වුවමනා වෙයිද, එහෙම නැත්නම් සමහරවල් මොන columns වුවමනා වෙන්නේ මේ correct output එක දෙන්න ගන්න. ඔය දේවල් ටික. So think about the manual process that you are going to do. So if you are asked to find the under 19 cricket captain, right? So what you are going to do, how you are going to find under 19 cricket captain? So first of all, we have to figure out who is the what is the captain ID, like where is the under 19 cricket team? So under 19 cricket team is here, right? And it indicates P1002 is the captain ID. So this captain ID is matched with the player ID. So we find P1002 is belongs to this particular record. So Raj Selvam is the name of the captain. So you found the answer, right? Under 19 cricket team ke captain ke nama Raj Selvam, right? So SQL, or right, the database does the same thing to find the name. So how many tables you refer to find the name? There are two tables, which is the team table and the player table. So database does the same thing. It refers these two tables. So answer for your question is going to be these two tables, right? So team and player, right? So those going to be the answers, and it will give you 1 mark regarding that particular question, right? Okay, was it clear, people? Just confirm. Right, great. So moving from this question to the next one, so which is the fourth, the HTML question. So in HTML question, first they are asking about some protocols, right? And some other things as well. So they're asking you to fill the blanks, so the first thing, blank determines the correspondence between domain names and IP addresses on the internet. So domain name and IP address correspondence are there in the DNS service, or like in the DNS server, which is giving the DNS service, right? So domain name system service is going to be the answer. It is the one which match or which maps the domain name given by the user to a particular IP address, right? Up here www.google.com කියලා type කරාම browser will send that name to the DNS server to take the IP address regarding the google.com. So then the computer connects with that particular server, right? So this is the answer for A. And blank is used to transfer large files from one computer to another over the internet. So the answer is here in the question. Transfer the large files. So it should be file transfer protocol, which is the FTP, is going to be the answer for B. And third one, it says blank is one of the most important protocols for email transport between email servers. So I really don't remember whether you had a very clear idea about the SMTP, right? The SMTP is stand for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, right? So this is the one which is responsible to the one which we discussed, or like to the one which had said in the part C. So this protocol responsible or like taken care of the emails transfer from one place to another, right? So this is called Simple Mail Transfer or Transport. Let me confirm, people. Hold on. Transfer, Simple Mail Transfer. Yeah. That is the SMTP stands for, and this ICMP is also talking about the mail, but it's not regarding the transportation, right? So ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, as I remember, it's confirmed. Yeah, Internet Control Message Protocol, and now Internet Control Message Protocol, right, which we are not using to do the transportation, or like the transport between computers, right? So SMTP is going to be the answer for C, right? This is for C. And in D is the top level domain of the domain name www.ni.lk. So we know this www is the service, NIE is the domain, LK is the top level domain, right? So our answer is going to be the LK, right, as the answer for the D. And in E, it says could be used to find out web pages whose URLs are not known. So why we use a URL, Uniform Resource Locator? So we need a URL to find a specific resource in the internet. But if we really don't know about the URL, we search for it. So how we are going to search it? Using the search engine, right? So this is going to be the answer for E. And F, it says separates the username and domain name of an email address. So like if we take the email address called abc@gmail.com, abc is taken as the domain name, gmail.com is taken as, abc is taken as the username, gmail.com is taken as the domain name. So it is separated by the @ symbol. So F is going to be the @. So let's clear up things with the marking scheme. So here it shows A, DNS service, B, FTP, C, SMTP, D, LK, E, search engine, and F, it's the @ symbol. So the marks that they have given is 3 marks. Like if 5 to 6 are correct, you can take 3 marks. It's 3. If it is 3 to 4 are correct, it's 2 marks, and only 1 mark for 1 to 2 are correct. Right. Then The latter part is talking about some things that they are using. So like choosing from examples given in the list, write down the correct example for each of the labels, items from A to D. So it says web browser. Now web browser, we everyone know Mozilla Firefox is a web browser. So this is going to be A. And programming language for dynamic web content creation. Now, we know that Pascal is not a programming language for dynamic web contents. They are asking programming language, not a tool, right? So like if you are asked to ask about the tool which creates dynamic web content, you can go with the answer Joomla, right? Which is a content management system, and it's going to be the answer for D. So for B, it's going to be the PHP, right? Hypertext preprocessor. So B is going to be the answer. PHP is going to be the answer for B. Web authoring tool, it's the Composer, right? Not the Joomla. Joomla is the content management system which help us to create dynamic websites. Even Composer, we can use that to create dynamic websites, but we have to do a lot of codings. But when it comes to the Joomla, it provides us the facility, right? So A is Mozilla Firefox, B is PHP, C is Composer, D is Joomla, right? So you are going to have 2 marks if all correct or 3 correct, and 1 mark if only 1 or 2 are correct. Yeah, the next one is the web page. So since web page is at the next page, I'm taking this picture downwards a little bit. Yeah, so the list is given below. So as you can see, so I'm not going to keep the list. I'm going to do the things with this particular thing. Yeah. Yeah, so in the number 1 has marked before the title tag. So definitely number 1 is going to become head. Right, 1 is head tag. Right, and the second one, it is besides the dengue fever, what is and how to stop it. Those are from big letters. So 2 is going to be H2, because H2 is the one which is given to you in the list. There is no any other header tags. And 3, it's talking about an image. So 3 will definitely going to be the img tag, which help us to put an image. And 4, it is talking about the line which is beneath the image, right? So that line is center aligned, and there are 3 lines, and those 3 lines are in the same tag. It seems to be in the 4 කියන tag එකෙන් තමයි හැම එකම ඉන්නේ. So the only tag that we can suggest here is the paragraph tag, P tag. And then සමහර වෙලාවට ගොඩක් අය හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා paragraph tag එකෙන් ඡේදයක්ම පේන්න ඕන කියලා. There is no that kind of a rule. So you can use a paragraph tag just for a word as well, right? So it gives you the effect that inserting the blank lines at the top and the bottom. Then me output එක බැලුවොත් ඔයගලන්ට මෙහෙම blank lines පේන්න තියෙනවා මේ p tags අතර. So p tag එකක් කරන එක effect එකක් ඒක. Right, p tag එකක් open කරලා close කරාම ඒ paragraph එකට හරි නැත්නම් එයා reflect වෙච්ච තැනට පස්සේ blank line එකක් තියලා තමයි ඊළඟ එක අරගන්නේ. Right, so 4 is going to be p. And then it has a table, so table tag is there, and the 5th and the 6th. So you know, for a table, it is must to have a table row tr, and it is must to have then tr should contains a th or a td, right? So that is the structure of a row. Neither p row එකක් සැලකුවොත් this particular row is taken from TR. It is a couple. And inside the TR, you can have TH. Again, it is going to be a couple of tags. As well as you can have TDs. Table data and table header. So here, for 5th and 6th, so it's talking about the header section. Header the first cell yeah, it's in the bold letters, right? So 5th is going to be a tr because it is the one which is going to come first, and 6th is going to be a th since it is a header. And then in the next line there are 5th and 6th. So 5th we know it's a tr. So 7. So now they are talking about the next row. ඊළඟ row එක ඇතුලේ ලොකු list දෙකක් තියෙනවා. One is an unordered list, which is the first cell, and the next one is the ordered list, which is the second cell. So 5 is the tr, 7 is going to be the td, and 8 is going to define the list. So the first list is an unordered list, so it's going to be a UN. And it will be closed from here, and the TD, the first TD will be closed from here, right? So /UL will be here, and /TD will be here. So first cell is done. So the next 7 is open, so 7 is still TD. And 9 is going to be an ordered list, OL. And it's going to close from right over here. Then we got 10 inside an anchor tag. So inside an anchor tag, href is the attribute which holds the link. So 10 is going to be a href, right? So as you can see, these are the answers. So 1 is head, 2 is h2, 3 is img, 4 is p, 5th is tr, 6th is th, 7 is td, 8 is ul, unordered list, 9 is ol, ordered list, and 10 is href. Right? So 5 marks are given if 9 to 10 are correct, 4 is given if 7 to 8 are correct. Good morning. And 3 is given, 5 to 6 are correct. 2 is given if 3 to 4 are correct. And 1 is given if 1 to 2 are correct. Right? Okay, people, is that clear? We are done with the 4th question. Right, great. So moving to the 5th, the Excel question, right? So in Excel question, let me clear my, rearrange the things right over here. What's the spider went?
There she is. There she is.
Ah, okay.
Shoot.
Right. So the fifth one. Oh, don't hurt him. Lamai Nadia. Right. So in the fifth question, it's the Excel question. So they are talking about calculating the EZ score for students, right? So which is actually done in the A level for the A level when we are creating the A level results, right? So here what they are asking is they have said the EZ score is done for 40 students and for 3 subjects, right? So in CDE columns shows you the subjects, and the next 3 columns shows you the EZ score calculation. So in the first one, it is asking write down a formula that should be entered in cell C43 to calculate the average mark for subject 1 in form of equal function 1, cell 1, cell 2. So you have to write the function and show. So it is easy. C43 means here, right? So these previous 2 columns are being merged to write the word average marks of subject. So C43 contains the average of the subject 1. So subject 1 marks are in this particular range. So it is easy to write equal average. Start in cell is C3 colon C42 because this is the range. Right, C3 colon C42 equal average C3 colon C42. So the second one, if this formula is copied to cells D43 and E43, write down the formula that will appear in cell D43. So now D43 means the adjacent one. So when it is copying to the right hand side along a column, it's only the letter that is going to change. That means a column header is going to change, not the row header, since it is in the same row. And when it is copying to the right hand side, letter E is getting increased. So C will become D's. So the answer is going to be equals average D3 colon D42. That is going to be your answer in D43. And in the third one, it is asking the EZ score for a subject of a student can be calculated by using the following formula. So EZ score is calculated, EZ score equals there is no function name called AVG it is the average, right? අපි AVG කියලා නෙවෙයි පුතේ ගන්න. AVG කියලා function name එකක් නෑ දුව. It's the average is the function name. AVG is wrong, completely wrong, right? So you should go with the complete word for the average. So for maximum, there can be max. For minimum, there is min. There is nothing called maximum and nothing called minimum as function name. It's max and min. And it is sum for the sum, that is all. And count, it's a full name, C-O-U-N-T, count for the count. Got it, Amma? Right. So to calculate the Z score, they are saying the student's marks for the subject minus average marks for the subject divided by SD value of the subject. So there are three things, right? Student marks for the subject, average marks for the subject, and SD value of the subject. You are dividing. So, and it says the SD values required for each subject are given in cell C44, D44, and E44. So that means in this range. So this is for subject 1, this is for subject 2, and this is for subject 3, the SD values, right? So now it's a piece of cake. So they are asking, write down the formula that should be entered into cell F3 to calculate Kamal's Z score for subject 1. So for subject 1 that they are asking. So Kamal is in the third column, in the third row. So what they are talking about is this particular value. And in the latter part, they say about this note, which is very important. It says, note that this formula is to be copied to calculate the Z score for subject 1 of all other students too. And I get the calculate karana hadan. So how Z score is being populated? So it says students mark for subject. So since we are doing this for Kamal, so student marks for subject 1. So we are talking about Kamal's subject 1. So subject 1 marks is 27. This is this particular thing. So this means C3. So C3 should be here. And average marks for the subject. We know that the average is right over here regarding a subject. So it's C43. And SD value of the subject. So this is minus, and it should have brackets since these things are showing you brackets. And divide by SD value of the subject. Now SD value for subject 1 is this. So that is C44. And now the problem is this is going to be copied to these two cells as well. මේ දෙන්නට copy කරනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඒක හදාගන්න. ඒතර මේ දෙන්නට copy වෙනකොට subject 2 should refer the subject 2 value. මෙයාව refer කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? I'm sorry. I'm saying it in wrong way. They are talking about calculating this part. අනිත් අයගේ subject 1 වලට අදාළ Z score එක. So when you are copying it down, you are going to refer the corresponding marks of the students. But what's happened to these two values? The average and the SD value is common for every student. So that means in your formulas, the blue color boxes like C43 and C44 is not going to change, but C3 should change as C4, C5, C6, C7 likewise. So if this C43 and C44 is not going to change, we have to use dollar marks to indicate that. So when you are copying down over a column, අපි මේ column එකක් දිගේ පහළට මෙතන copy කරන්න හදන්න. right? So when you're going down over a column, it's the row value or like the row header or the number is going to change. So put in a dollar mark at the left of the number of C43 and C44 will be sufficient, right? So this will give you the answer. Equal sign should be at the uh, starting point. So it's going to be something like this. And there can be alternative answers as well. Let me show you. So we are referring to the third answer A part. So as I told you in the first column of this, actually the second column of this table, which says me A කියලා indicate වෙලා තියෙන්නේ, right? So this is the one we wrote, equal C3, not that one. This is the one we wrote, equal C3 minus $43 divided by $44. And you can use dollar mark in everywhere of C43 and C44. Dollar C $43 divided by dollar C $44, right? Even you can use dollar mark with C only. Right? C dollar mark but for 3 it should be kept as it is without a dollar mark. C3 ge 3 කියන එකත් එක්ක dollar mark එකක් refer වෙන්න බෑ. Right? So those kind of answers can be taken as the correct one. So what we are writing, it's better we write it according to the way we learn. වෙනස් වෙන කෙනා ඩොලර් මාක් නැතුව තියලා වෙනස් නොවන කෙනාගේ කම්පෝනන්ට් එකට වම් අත පැත්තෙන් ඩොලර් මාක් එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න. Right? So it is the way. So in B part, it is asking if this formula is copied to cell range F4 to F42, write down the formula that will appear in cell F42, right? So F42 is somewhere right over here. Right? So that means our formula is going to copy to the F42. Now, this particular equation is in F3. And this is going to copy to the F42. So when you are having it in the F3, we are having C3. So when you are copying it to the F42, definitely it's going to copy as C42. And others are not going to change. It's $43 divided by $44. So you have to sleep, right? So this is the way it's going to be on your answers, right? It's C42 minus $43 divided by, bracket should be there, and divided by $44. And the last column of this table shows you the alternative answers. Just go through whether you are getting it the same way. Right, so that will get part A is getting 2 marks, part B is getting 1 mark. And about the previous parts, people, the question 5, part 1 is giving you 2 marks, and part 2 is getting you 1 mark. And part 3 has A part is getting 2 marks and B part is getting 1 mark. Yeah, so Geetaka, my God, Geetaka, this is going to be a problem because in the answer, why did you choose n percent, Puta? N percent is not a valid symbol that we can use, Puta. Is it the dollar? Is it the dollar? Yeah. And Geetaka, it's going to be a problem. The answer is going to be wrong, Puta, because C3 minus dollar C dollar 43. Eka වරහන් ඇතුළේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ. නැත්තම් දැන් ඔයා ලියපු විදිහට වෙන්නේ it's going to දැන් ඔයාගේ මේ වරහන නැහැනේ. ඔයාගේ මේ වරහන නැහැ. Right? So you just had this and your brackets are end up from here. So this means this is going to happen first. එහෙමනොත් උත්තරේ completely wrong වෙනවා. Right? So it is a must to have the bracket like this. Then you can divide the $44. Your answer is going to get wrong either. Right? Okay, so be careful. Right? So in the fourth part, they are asking the final Z score of a student is the average of 3 Z scores for the subjects. Write down the formula to calculate the final Z score value of Kamal in cell I3. Right? So now cell I3 is right over here. So to calculate that, we need to use these 3 cells, which is F3, G3, and H3, right? So we can calculate the average using the average function, but it is not the way that they are saying. They're saying use the count and the sum to calculate the average. So we know to calculate the average, what we are doing is adding up together and divided by number of adders, right? So like, since we have 3 things, we have to divide it by 3, but 3 should be indicated using the count. Sum will give us the total. So it should be written like this, equal sum. The reference range is going from F3 colon H3, right? So F3 colon H3, and you can divide it by count. It's better you take the same range, right? ඔගලන්ට count එකේ range එක ඇතුළට values තියෙන ඕනම cells තුනක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි values දැන් ඔයා පාවිච්චි කරොත් F2 colon H2 කියලා එහෙම වුණොත් උත්තර වර්ධිනවා. Because it is not going to work with the cells which contain text. අකුරු තියෙන ඒවා යා count කරන්නේ නැහැ. count එකේ count කරන්නේ අගයන් තියෙන values තියෙන cells විතරයි. So whatever 3 cells, මොකද cells values තියෙන cells තුනක් ගණන් කරාම උත්තරේ 3 එන්නේ. ඉතින් values තියෙන ඕනම cells තුනක් ගණන් කරන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගලන්ට. ඉතින් ලේසිම වැඩේ just count the same thing which we used to do the sum, right? So this is going to be the answer, equal sum F3 colon H3 divided by count F3 colon H3. So for that you can have 2 marks, right? Okay, so moving forward, the 5th question, the 5th part, and it is a simple one that they are asking. So assuming the student Z score values for the 3 subjects and the final Z score for all have been calculated, write down the formula that should be entered in cell I44 to find the highest final Z score value for the form of what they have given below. So what they are asking is, what is the formula that you should write to this particular cell, right? And that can be written by taking this range into consideration with the max function. So you have to say equal max, as the marking scheme shows, equal max I3 colon I42, or the other way around, equal max I42 colon I3, which gives you 2 marks again. Right, so that sum up the Excel question, people. Is that clear? Right, we have to quickly move through the 6th and 7th. So anyone who has done the 6th? Okay, there is a one. So the 6th question, it is about the SDLC, right? So from the first question, they are asking to match the ABCDEs with the given list, right? So identification of requirement. So in there, we are doing the interviewing, right? So A goes with S. And designing interface, that actually happens when we are designing the solution. So it is Q. So B should goes with Q. And for C, writing the computer programs. Now computer programs is done when coding the solution. So it is P for C. And testing and debugging. So there are 4 types of testing that we are talking: unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. So here we get integration testing. So D is going with R. And adding new features to the system. New features are added after deployment of the system. New features, right? So that is a part of the maintenance. So E, you got T, right? So if you got those answers, you can have 2 marks for that. So S for A, Q for B, P for C, R for D, and T for E, right? So if 4 to 5 is correct, 2 marks, and 1 to 3 is correct, only 1 mark, right? Then they are asking about, yeah, they have given you a scenario, and they are asking what are the inputs, process, and output. So for inputs, I'm using the blue color. Now since the green is selected, I'm using the green color for inputs. So they say the bookshop in your school operates with a computer-based information system. When a student goes to buy stationery, the clerk enters the item code. Item code is going to be an input, and the quantity of each item is going to be an input. And then for the process, it says the student wants to buy, the system then calculates the total. So calculate the total is going to be a process, total cost for each item, and the total bill value. So calculating total bill value is going to be another process. And for output, then the system displays the final bill. So output is going to be, final bill is going to be an output on the screen, and prints it. So print out of the final bill is going to be output. So those are the answers. So for inputs, item code, quantity, any one of those, you can collect one. You need only one to write. And processing, computing or calculating the total cost for each item, or the total bill value. For output, total cost of each item, total bill value, and the final bill. So the marks they have given, 1 for the part A, 2 for the part B, the processing got 2 marks, and 1 for the output, right? And in the third question, they are just asked to match things with A to D from the list. So Sunil is developing a library management system and told the teacher that she will not be able to use any part of the system until the entire system is fully developed. So that is going to happen with when you are doing the things using a waterfall model, right? Because the waterfall model is the one which delivers the product at the very end of the system development life cycle. right? So A is going to go with T. And after completion of small information system for the school canteen, Asma decided to stop the existing system and operate the new system. So the place where you're going to stop the existing system and operates the new system is on a deployment pattern or deployment method, which we call the direct deployment. So in the direct deployment way, we say take out the old system away and go with the new system, right? So it is P. And C, it says, after monitoring the new student information system initially introduced to the grade 6 classes, the principal plans to introduce the system to other classes of the school. So first, principal has introduced to the grade 6, and it is like after monitoring the new system information system initially. So like he just introduced it to the grade 6 and monitor it whether it is working okay. Since it is okay, he is going to apply it to the entire school. So this deployment method called the pilot deployment method, which is the S. So the pilot project is going on the grade 6. So once it is success, the entire organization is going to absorb it. So C goes with S. The last one, this has some controversial answer. The initial system was developed with 2 input screens and 1 report. Based on the user feedback, 2 more input in screens and the reports were added to the system. Right now, they take this as the pace deployment, but when you are deploying things, pace deployment does not happen on that manner, right? Pace deployment iterative software deployment, iterative software development is much justifiable answer, right?
The ball is clean, Daddy.
No, Lalindi, definitely not. The C is not going to go with pace because they said the information system, the entire information system initially given to the grade 6. Pace deployment එක when you do a කෑල්ලක් දෙන්නේ ලොකු සිස්ටම් එකෙන් එක කොටසක් දෙනවා දීලා ඒක වැඩ කරනවා ඒක ඕකේ වුණාම තව කොටසක් රීප්ලේස් කරනවා ඒ විදිහට හිමින් all system එක රීප්ලේස් වෙනවා new system එකේ paces වලින් කෑලි වලින්. That is what you call pace deployment. Now in C they take the entire system and put it to the grade 6 only, and grade 6 operate with the new system. Rest of the school is going with the old system. Once the grade 6 is okay with the new system, entire school is going to get the information system, right? Which we call the pilot deployment, right? Okay. Right. So here they have chosen the pace deployment, but I'm not agree with that. But we have to go with the marking scheme, right? So they say T for A, P for B, S for C, and R for D, right? So the very last, not the very last, like the last question part of the 6th question, we are left with the 7th. So they are asking about the 2 benefits of computer-based information system over manual information system. We can give many, right? So any 2 out of this, and be careful of a single line name. Speed, efficiency, doing many tasks simultaneously, it means the same. So if you write speed as a 1 point and efficiency as another point, you are not going to have 2 marks. It's just 1 mark because it's just one thing that you are talking about, right? Yeah, yes. So errors are minimal, Lalindi, regarding that. Yeah, you can take it though, no problem. It goes with the accuracy part, right? Yeah, so any 2 of these will give you 2 marks. If you got any alternative answers, you can talk to me. Right, so I'm quickly going to the 7th question. I hope you guys can stay since it is the last day. So if you really need to go for another lesson, it's okay. Go for the lesson, and good luck on the exam, because we are not going to meet again as usual on Sunday mornings, right? So let's quickly jump to the seventh question. So the seventh one describes about the programming, and it's quite easy this time, right? Consider the following: array A contains 5 integer values, and it is asking us to execute the pseudocode with the array given above and ask for the output, right? So it's begin, and they are saying assign A0 to the value. So we take value column and A0. A0 means this: if when we are referring to A0, it refers to the value. So value will be 80, right? So there is another variable which calls k. K is equals to 1, and so this happens, these two happens, and the while condition is there. It says while k less than or equal 4. When k is less, whether the k is less than equal or 4, it is, because k is 1, so while is correct. So going inside we are referring to a if condition, and it is saying ak less than value. Now ak means for the moment k is containing 1, so that they are talking about a1 less than value. So a1 means 100. So 100 less than value means 80. 80. So it is not true for the first point. So they are going to jump from here to end if straight away. Right? Then they increase k by 1, so k become 2. Since we are at the end of the while, we are going to the top again and check the while condition again. So k is less than 4 still, because k is 2. So they goes to the if again. Ak less than value. Now ak is a2. A2 means 70. So 70 is less than 80. So it is correct this time. So it says assign ak to the value. So ak means for the moment it is 70. ak can a2 then. K value. So it is 70. So 70 will get assigned to the value. So 80 will be replaced. So then if ends, and k will be increased by another one. So it's 3. So goes up again and checks. So k is still less than 4. So this is correct again. And then they check if ak less than value. Now ak means now a3, because k's value is 3. So a3 is 65. So ak is 65 now, right, which is a3, and value is 70, right? For the moment value is 70. So now still this is true. So goes and execute the ak assigned value again, this particular thing. So that means instead of 70, 65 is going to assign, because a3 is 65 for the moment. So but that is what they are asking. So then if ends and ask k to increase, so k becomes 4. So goes up again, and still the condition is true. It is not less, but it is equal. So goes down again. They are checking whether ak is less than the value. Now ak means a4, which means 95. So here you got 95. At this point you got 65. So the condition is false. So it straight away comes to the end if and increase k by 1. So 4 become 5. Right? And goes back and check the while condition, and now while is incorrect. So it comes to the end while part, and then display the value. Value means 65. So your answer is going to be 65. This is the correct answer. People, did you got that? Confirm me. Right, great. So for having 65 as the answer, you are given 2 marks, right? So the part B is talking about identify and write down the correct statement for P, Q, and R in the flow chart on the right, which is drawn using above the pseudocode. So using the above pseudocode. So begin is match as start, and value of A0, value equal A0, that is there, K equal 1, that is there, and the condition which is AK less than K less than or equal 4, it is there. So the while condition is mapped as well. So then there is a condition again. So it's we got another condition which is belongs to the if, and you have to write it in a very correct manner. It's going to be a question: is AK less than value? You should have a question mark. So that should be your question in the condition box. So then if it is yes, value equal AK, that is mapped. So this is mapped, this is mapped. And end if, we are not going to indicate the end if in the flow chart. It is just the flow that indicates it's over. And you got another process. Now this process indicates K equals K plus 1. So this belongs to K equals K plus 1, which happens once the selection is done. So selection belongs to this particular area. So when it is done, K equals K plus 1 can happen. So we are left with one particular output. That output is going to be display value. So it's going to be as it is, which is going to gain you 3 marks. Right, so this is the way they have shown that. Is AK less than value is going to be P, K equals K plus 1 is going to be the Q, display value is going to be the R, right? So, oh, hold on. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so PQR, that contains 3 marks for you. And for the next part, they are just giving you some values to assign with an array. That's easy. So they are asking you to assign 45 to A1, 88 for A2, and 72 for A4, right? And they ask you to write down or redraw the array, right? So here's the array. So you only need to replace the value of the A1, A2, and A4, right? So that's what they are talking about, A1, A2, and A4. So 45, 88, 72 is given. Other two stays as it is, right? So if you write this on this manner, so it's better, remember to write it like this manner with the indexes, right? It will give you 2 marks. And the very last question that we are going to talk in the very last day, right? And this gives you to choose or to deal with a flow chart with which defines whether a triangle is going to be a equilateral. Yeah, I really messed up with these words. Equilateral සමපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක්, isosceles සමද්විපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක්, slane විෂමපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක්, right? So you know this equilateral is going to be all things are equal, and isosceles is going to be something like this, and slane is going to be something like this, right? So they start the algorithm, they read the L1, L2, L3, which is going to be the length of 3 sides. So in the first one, they ask whether L1 is equals to L2. So then if it is yes, they are going to check another condition. And if it is yes, it's going to be a equilateral. So equilateral means all 3 sides are going to be same. So is L1 equals L2? In here you can ask, is L1 equals L3? L1 L2 ට සමාන නම් L1 L3 ටත් සමානද කියලා බලනවා. එතකොට තුන් දෙනාම සමානයි. Or else you can ask, is L2 equals L3? ඔය දෙකෙන් එකක් අහන්න පුළුවන්. Right? ඔය මොන විදිහෙන් ඇහුවත් it's going to define it as an equilateral. Right? සමපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක්. And if this condition, අපි මේ ලියන condition එක, if it becomes no, that means from the previous condition, මෙතනින් කියලා ඉවරයි දෙන්නෙක් සමානයි කියලා. So that means here they can display isosceles. That means සමද්විපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක් විදියට. Right? මෙතනට එනකොට සමද්විපාද. Right? And if the very first condition falls, L1 L2 ට සමාන නැත්නම් අපිට එකපාරටම කියන්න බෑ it's going to be a slane විෂමපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක් කියලා. So we are going to check other තව පාද දෙකක් අපි බලනවා. So they have taken L2 equals L3. If it is yes, so again අපිට first condition එකෙන් කිව්වා දෙන්නෙක් අසමානයි කියලා. ඊළඟ condition එකෙන් කියනවා වෙන දෙන්නෙක් තව දෙන්නෙක් සමානයි කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් එක පාදයක් පාද දෙකක් සමානයි. So then it's going to be again isosceles. Right? සමද්විපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක් වෙනවා. If it is wrong, නේද? අපි මේ L1 L2 L3 කියන පාද දෙකෙන් මුලින් මෙයයි බැලුවා. ඒ දෙන්න සමාන නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි බැලුවා මෙයයි ඒ දෙන්නත් සමාන නැහැ. ඊළඟ අපි බලනවා මෙයයි. Right? That is what they are doing right over here. ඒ කියන්නේ confirm කරගන්නවා පාද තුනම තුන් දෙනාටම අසමානයි නේද කියලා. If it becomes L1 L3 වලට සමාන වුණොත් ආයසරයක් පාද දෙකක් සමානයි කියලා එනවා. So we can call it like a isosceles. සමද්විපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක් කියලා. If it is no, it's going to be a slane. Right? විෂමපාද ත්‍රිකෝණයක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. Right? So then people, P is going to be on that particular way. Like let's go through the marking scheme. Is L2 equals L3 is correct. You can go for with the is L1 equals L3 as well. And display isosceles triangle. ඒකාර output එකේ විදිහට එන්න ඕනේ. And R displays slane triangle. ඒකත් output එකේ විදිහට එන්න ඕනේ. So that gives you 3 mark. And that sum up the 2019 paper. Right. So people, since I'm rushed to the, I need to rush to the hospital for some medical appointments, but I'll tell you what I need to tell you. Right. මම සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් මේ වැඩේට ලෑස්ති. Right. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් papers සාකච්ඡා කරලා තියෙනවා O levels. So you don't need to worry about the paper. So it's going to be another ICT paper, something very similar to this, right? So go for it. Have your natural skills, right? ICT වලට answer කරන nature එකට මෙතනට answer කරන්න, don't worry, right? අමාරු ප්‍රශ්නයක් આવොත් ඒක හැමෝටම අමාරුයි, remember, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් ඔයගලගේ තත්ත්වය දන්නවා, you know how to answer and you know how to clarify the things, right? So don't worry, just go and give your best shot, right? It will gain you the best that you deserve, right? So ඒක නිසා කොයි විදිහකටවත් hesitate වෙන්න එපා. Do it as you doing it now, right? හැම subject එකකටම එහෙම, right? So keep it up, keep the spirit, right? May week එකේ the exam date එක වෙනකම්ම if you need to contact me, just contact me and ask anything that you want, right? Now officially I am ending this because I don't think it's good to have a class just before the exam. ඔයගලන්ට අනිත් subject වලට ලෑස්ති වෙන්න තියෙනවා, so I'm ending up today, right? And yes, we are not going to meet again on Sunday mornings, right? But it's not a goodbye, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ A levels වලට ICT තෝරගත්තොත්, if you think that I am a good teacher to have A levels with you, so you can come to me again, right? And එහෙම නැති වුණා, we will meet. This is a small country and this is a small world, right? So keep things. දැන් සමහර අය මම ඇත්තටම දැකලත් නැහැ. අපි online class එකක් විදිහට මේක continue කරේ, but I remember the names. මම සමහරලාට ඔයගලන්ගේ pictures වලින් දැකලා තියෙනවා ඔයගලන්ව. So just keep නේද අපි හරියට අර tan මිතුරු වගේ, right? Some of us have never seen but we know each other, right? So thank you for that experience, right? This is the first online class due to the pandemic situation and the first online class that I am winding up. So have your best shot, people. I know you can do it, like in your best, right? So good luck, keep it up. And this is not goodbyes. I'll see you when I am see you, right? So keep it up, people. Keep the spirit. Go for your best, right? So thank you very much. Dutu no dutu hamotama, thank you very much, right, for the experience that you have given to me to gain the experience of studying. So I wish you all the best, right? හොඳට කරන්න, හොඳම දේ කරන්න, සහ don't worry, it's just one another exam, so face it. It's not a big deal, right? So good luck, everyone. So I'm going to end the session and end the sessions for the O levels as well. And again, it's not a goodbye, right? So best of luck, keep it up, right? Thank you very much. So I'm going to end up the things. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, people. Thank you, Himanadi, and thank you, Nikini. Thank you, Ama. Thank you, Geetaka. Lalindi, we meet, Neda. Yes. And thank you, Hasna, and thank you, everyone, again, right? Okay, all the best and good luck, people.